Got Dr. Fauci testifying somewhere in the U.S. government about God knows what. But of course, the average person thinks this is all organic, and it's not. It's all scripted. It's all a big play. It's all propaganda. Even the entire proceedings is an act of propaganda with a guaranteed outcome that they're looking for at a guaranteed time where they need that outcome. And what you're seeing is twofold. You see talk about the origins of the COVID virus, and then you have the government trying to straighten things out as the altruistic hero there to protect everybody. This, this unbiased group. That's all you need to know. Those are the only two things they're trying to accomplish. They want you, A, believing in viruses, whether natural or man-made, that make you sick. And B, they want you outsourcing your responsibility to government. That's the reason the Fauci wrestling show is going on right now. And it would have all been pre-scripted, and basically they don't have to give out too much instruction to a Jesuit-trained operative like Anthony Fauci. So he went to a Jesuit school, and the Jesuits are one of the secret societies that believe themselves superior to everybody else on the planet, and they would school their graduates in exactly this sort of operation a long, long time ago. So his instructions wouldn't have to be written down or communicated in detail, which might give them away, because he knows there's only two things he's there to do with the rest of the actors. The only two things that, again, this whole menagerie is designed to do is, again, A, keep the public believing in fatal airborne pathogens that they can't see or identify with their own eyes. That's a hugely important control mechanism that they just can't let go. And of course, viruses never, ever proven to exist in the way that they're advertised. And of course, I know a lot of medical doctors who would love viruses to exist, because it brings them back to the good old days where they are the sort of wizards of protection, protectors again, from the invisible pathogenic attack. A lot of medical doctors sort of don't understand their own psychological nudging inside their own nervous system, that they themselves are programmed to believe in viruses, not just because of their indoctrination, but because when there's an invisible threat, when there's an invisible attack on their patient, and they have the magic weaponry, the magic wands to bring everything back under control for the patient, it brings a lot of power to that medical doctor. And you can see it. I mean, this is what the average person has to wrap their head around, is number one, no viruses have ever been proven to exist as advertised. Yes, there are crazy people in labs across the world trying to make compounds that kill you. And there are thousands of compounds that they've developed that can kill you, even airborne ones, but they're not viruses. They've never been viruses. They're poisons. They're poisons. They're not invisible. They don't spread person to person. They are poisons. Yeah, and a lot of people did get sick during the COVID nonsense, but you have to understand that there's something as well called the nocebo effect and the placebo effect, and they've done experiments on people. You can go read these experiments in a book by Daniel Roytas, Roytas, and you'll see that it's up to 30% of people can get sick. It's called psychogenic illness. 30% of people can just get sick. If you just tell them there's a virus in the air that makes them sick, their body can mimic the command and take on the suggestion, almost like a person in hypnosis takes on suggestions. 30% of the population can get sick, even if you just tell them there's something in the air that makes them sick. And again, you can go recount the experiments that prove this in Mr. Roytas's book, Can You Catch a Cold? So again, be aware, ladies and gentlemen, that there's no viruses as advertised, but they really need you to believe in them so that you can be afraid, so that you can think, maybe there's not natural viruses, but maybe Fauci had a lab leak. Maybe there's a man-made virus I got to be afraid of. Maybe that's what the government will protect me from. Maybe that's why I got to stand 6 feet apart. Maybe that's why I need to wear a mask. Maybe it's the man-made virus that I need to get a vaccine for. Maybe the new vaccine will protect me from the lab leak virus. And why do you think they're pulling this out of their asses right now? Why? Why do you think that? Because they're going to try and do it again. So they're just re-sparking the fire, so that a lot of people are starting to figure out, and a lot of people are being exposed to the information that, virology is not even a pseudoscience. It's just a complete and utter fakery from top to bottom. But so this group is like, a lot of people are starting to find out that virology, it doesn't even qualify as a pseudoscience. So let's make them afraid again. Talk about the lab leak, because we got to launch the next liaria-based pathogenic attack in, say, the next 6 months. So let's reignite their fear about this. And you can see so many people talk a strong game about, I'm in the truth movement and I know what's going on. You see them, they even get scared. But what if there's a virus? What? You hear them talk. If anybody talks like these things are real, you haven't done your research. Now, government is out there, and again, they want you believing the government is there to protect you when it's not. The only reason your life sucks to any degree is because of government. The whole idea of government is there to poison you so that they can steal more and more of your money, because you're less able to defend yourself the more poisoned you are. So, of course, what do you think these injections full of poison are for? So it just increases the propensity or the potential that the government survives another decade or another 2 decades. You don't need government. But again, they're trying to rekindle the entire concept once again. Like when someone reports that, Fauci's testifying, but they don't follow it up with their own opinion that we don't need government, period, in the first place. Like, we would be better off keeping all our money. Are you telling me you're not going to be better off tomorrow with 100% of your income, getting your full paycheck with nothing deducted? And then not only are you walking around with your full paycheck, no one's trying to poison you and mind control you to eat poison, mind control you to smoke poison, mind control you to drink poison, mind control you to inject poison. You telling me that your life's not going to be so much better with every cent that you've ever earned, while at the same time, no one's trying to poison you? No one's trying to covertly attack you? No one's trying to set up these machinations of fakery so that you agree with every illogical and irrational thing that's destroying your life right now? Are you telling me your life wouldn't be better? And and some people have so much that the Stockholm syndrome is so intense. They're like, I don't know if that's fair, keeping all my money. What about the roads? You don't even know that in the United States, your taxes don't even pay for the roads. You don't even understand that. Go look up to where your taxes go in the United States. They don't go to the roads. Every cent of taxation in the United States goes to paying the debt on the loan that the government takes out from the bankers. And it's the loans that you don't need to go fix the roads. And government doesn't fix the roads anyway. Find a guy who fixed the roads and ask him if he works for the government. They don't. They work for construction companies. They could fix the roads without the government. And then someone would be like, well, who's going to organize it? We can organize it. You think the government's efficient at organizing things? When the sole purpose of government is to destroy you and make you weak on so many levels that you can't connect any of these dots and protect yourself and your family? So if there's anybody out there that you see reporting on this clown show of Fauci in Congress, and they're talking about it like it's a big step forward, they have to follow that up with the idea that we don't need these people anymore. We don't need them governing us. We don't need them stealing our money. We don't need them exploiting us. We don't need them extorting us. That we don't need them poisoning us. Who needs that? So if you're watching TV and you're watching any government machination, stage show, clown show, and something's running through your mind other than we don't need these people, like so many reporters in the truth movement just gobble up what the government's doing next, and they'll report it as bad, or they'll report it as good, or give us a little bit of hope. How about you start reporting the same thing and finalize your report by saying, you know what? We don't need these people. We don't need to be governed. We're not children. We can sever the bond and we can grow up anytime. We don't need a guru. We don't need a coach. We don't need an adult. We don't need an overlord. We can govern ourselves through the natural law, the law of morality. And that natural law takes care of anything. You come steal my stuff, I'll take care of you. I don't need some intermediary between. I don't need a go-between with the police, and everybody's responsible for themselves. And if someone tries to break in and rape you or steal your stuff, you would be armed at that point too. And you wouldn't be getting poisoned, and you wouldn't be watching people murder each other on Netflix so that your brain's all discombobulated. So you don't know right from wrong, up from down, black from white, left from right. You're not going to be. What you don't understand is all the messy people that you're afraid of, all the countries that you think are trying to attack you, all the dark forces that make you afraid to rule yourself are all purposely organized by this very small ruling group. You saw the Truman Show. They kept them in the small town because they said if you take an airplane, it'll crash, or there'll be fires, or there'll be a flood, and if you take a boat out, you'll drown. That's what government does to you. Every time you dream a little bit bigger, they're there to put their foot right up your ass with another lie so that you can't get out of the mental box that you're living in. So I don't know if that rant helped anybody, but it might have helped me a little bit, get it off my chest, because I'm sick and tired of seeing people, supposed leaders in the truth movement, reporting on the chicken feed that the government spreads out for us, and they gobble it up like they haven't eaten in 6 months, saying, oh, look, the government, they're finally turning the corner. We have some hope. Oh, for God's sakes, people. Sweet fancy Moses, smell the roses. They do it every single time to keep you pecking for that feed inside the human farm. Why don't you just get rid of the people throwing the feed to you and putting the fence up around you and stealing your eggs and putting you to the blade? Why don't you get rid of them and lead a real life instead of cheering on the people that enslave you? Pretty obvious. Anyway, I won't even mention my email address. Have a great day.